What does College Gridiron Showcase mean to you?
To me, it represents an opportunity to help, some of these college players have another platform to show what they can do for some pro personnel.
What's your main reason for partnering with the College Gridiron Showcase?
For me, I see a lot of guys playing in the game that have a story similar to mine, coming from a small school or just not necessarily being seen as a top round pick right now. So again, it just represents an opportunity for those guys to showcase what they can do.
You played in the EastWest Shrine game coming out of Hofstra. How did that help you prepare for the NFL?
I mean, for me, it was more confidence boosting than anything. Coming from Hofstra, you always hear the talk that the bigger school guys are playing at a different level. So just being able to practice with those guys all week and then play and produce, was a huge confidence booster for me.
What was your biggest takeaway or fondest memory from playing in that game?
Really, for me, it was the relationships. A couple guys that I played with are still playing in the league right now, especially at the receiver position. I look at a guy like Greg Jennings. 9 years later, we're still able to have a good relationship.
How do you think that helped raise your draft stock or get you in position to be drafted like you were?
I mean, obviously, when you can play against guys that are graded pretty high and play well, that's going to help you in your goal to move up and get drafted.
Take us back to the winter and spring of 2006. What did you do? What other things did you do to prepare for the draft that year?
I mean, really, there's not much you can do outside of just train. Just training, getting ready for the combine, and then pro day shortly thereafter, and then trying to transition into getting back into football shape. And trying to get ready for a rookie camp.
What's your biggest piece of advice for someone in that position this winter and spring?
I would say just to continue to work and enjoy the journey. You never know where it's going to end, and you put so much work into reaching your goal and your dream. So just enjoy it.
What would you have to say your favorite part and your least favorite part of the pre-draft process was?
For me, my favorite part was playing in the EastWest Shrine game. Just having an opportunity to play one last college game, again, form some pretty cool relationships. And my least favorite would just be the anxiety and the waiting game, and really the uncertainty. Putting in all the work throughout my high school years and college years, and just not knowing where all of that would end up. That's obviously, a tough deal.
Was there anything during that time that you would have done differently to prepare?
I think every guy would probably have the same thing, and it would be to find a way to train harder. You feel like you're doing everything that you can do, but, as an athlete, as a competitor, you always, feel the need to try to do more.
How have your experiences with ownership and management in indoor football, obviously right now with the Philadelphia Soul, helped you understand the business side of football?
It's been a unique experience, and playing on Sundays, the other side of the business side helped me to get a feel for what it takes to get to the game. Whether it's the marketing and advertising, getting butts in seats, or just the operational stuff to make sure that logistically everything is ready. It's been a great experience, and I look forward to continuing to learn both sides.
Do you think, can you talk about how, even though it might have had its challenges, playing in a smaller school like Hofstra still helped you prepare for the NFL?
Yeah, for me, I was able to play as a freshman, and that was huge. Just having 3.5, 4 years of really just being able to play and develop. And, I think, being at a larger school, I probably got redshirted and, ended up, sitting behind a couple guys. So for me, having the opportunity to play right away, I think was huge in my development.
Did you pay attention to any of the pre-draft profiles written about you in publications, newspaper, websites? Whether you did or didn't, Why did you take that course in terms of whether you looked at them or ignored them?
No, I definitely looked at them and kind of studied them, just because as a competitor, you look for any kind of motivation you can get. And me personally, there was some stuff that I just didn't agree with. So you just got to continue to work, and I use it as motivation.
Obviously, that draft was a 2-day process. I mean, being here myself, seeing Reggie Bush pick number 2, you were almost 30 some odd hours later. Can you just describe what your emotions were waiting so long to get drafted that weekend?
Definitely anxious. 3 days is a long time to wait and find out where your future lies. So, I spent most of the time with my family, and I tried to relax, but it was next to impossible, just because there's so much uncertainty behind it. Seven rounds is a long way to wait, but definitely worth it in the end.
When you were finally picked, what was your first thought? I think it was around 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday.
I mean, it was kind of a dream realized. Been working at it since, I started playing football at age 7, and, just to see, all of those things culminate into actually getting a phone call. I mean, it was awesome.
When you came here to that rookie camp as a 7th round pick, did your status help or hinder your transition?
I think, being a lower round pick or a free agent, it presents its own challenges, and you got to really work to show yourself and to separate from some of the other guys. So it definitely presents a different challenge.
9 years later, looking back, how have the Saints helped you develop as an NFL player?
I mean, it's been a huge part of my development. Coming into this situation at the timing that I did with the players that I did, I think it was just that the timing couldn't have been more perfect. Coaching staff and a scouting department that was adamant at getting the right guys on the field and putting guys in position where they can be successful, and I reap benefits from that from day one.
You basically suddenly became a starter following a trade under some crazy circumstances in week 1 of 2006. What's the biggest lesson you've learned since then?
I mean, really, this league is a revolving door, and just like you said, with some crazy circumstances, I went from a 7th round pick and potentially a practice squad guy to starting week 1. So it's definitely nothing set in stone. So just continuing to work and being ready for anything at any time.
One last question. I don't know how much you follow college football during the season, but is there a receiver prospect that you've watched on TV maybe that stuck out to you so far, and why?
Yeah, there's actually a guy out in Arizona State, Jalen Strong. He's definitely intriguing to me. I always like to kind of watch some of the bigger receivers that are coming up, and he's a guy that definitely stuck out to me, and very interested, and we'll follow his progress and see where he gets picked.